All right, here we go. Two burly boys played Pokemon in their youth. One had to grow up, the other stayed true. Now the large grown-up child can name all of them, but the other guy probably 510. Now what can they do? Why don't they review? Now we'll talk about them till we die.
Die?
Welcome, everybody. I'm Joachim.
And I'm Frank.
And this is your Certified Poke-Moment, where we feature and talk about one Pokemon evolution line every week.
Today's Pokemon is... Beldum! Oh, this is so... We get to talk about a pseudo-legendary.
I do love Beldum.
Oh my gosh. So last week, we were literally just talking about Metagross last week, because he's on Steven's team.
Gosh.
What are the odds?
I love the Gen 3 representation.
Yeah, we are getting good Gen 3 representation. Beldum and Metagross and Metang.
I've always
they're
loved.
good.
I freaking love that Beldum is just this weird little arm segment thing.
Yep.
And then it turns into this awesome metal thing. I hated its nose as a kid, but it just...
Oh, Metang's nose?
Metagross
just has the X thing.
Yeah, I hated Metang's nose. But then it got like a cool X.
They look so good in Scarlet and Violet. Like, their texture in Scarlet and Violet is amazing. Wow.
That's awesome.
All right, so Metagross is a Steel Psychic type. And Beldum, the whole evolution line is Steel and Psychic. And Beldum gets the ability Clear Body, and it keeps it all the way through its evolution. And the hidden ability... Oh, I should tell you what Clear Body does, huh?
Yeah.
The opponent's moves which lower this Pokemon's stats have no effect. However, the Pokemon may lower its own stats with its own moves. So, if your opponent uses, like, I don't know, what's that one? Growl against you to lower your attack, it'll do nothing with Clear Body.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then its hidden ability, which is much worse, is Light Metal, which halves the Pokemon's weight.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Now, there is an ability called Heavy Metal that doubles the Pokemon's weight. And it can be useful when you use moves like Heavy Slam, or what's that other one, that fighting type one that was introduced?
I can't remember. I think weight is a cool Pokemon mechanic. I wish it did more than just get featured with a few moves and items, maybe. It
really doesn't affect anything. Well, Heat Crash also gets affected through weight, but Metagross will never learn Heat Crash.
But lightweight, does lightweight help anything? Is there a move that makes you like faster? Like, oh, this move will go first if you're lighter weight. It's like Trick Room. No, not Trick Room. Trick Room just reverses
the speed stats of all the Pokemon.
Stats, yeah.
Decreasing weight affects these moves. Grass Knot. Oh, so Grass Knot would do less damage to you since you're not as heavy.
Oh, thank God.
Low Kick would do less damage to you because you're not as heavy.
Thank God. Oh my gosh.
Where would we be if Low Kick, which hits for neutral damage?
So it's almost like weight is like a defense. Low weight is like a defensive stat. And then high weight is like an offensive stat because you can use it with offensive moves.
You know what? Technically, I guess so. I never really thought of it like that, but yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, that is cool.
It still doesn't make it a great mechanic.
No, Clear Body is a much better ability for Metagross, for sure. Beldum's Emerald Pokedex entry states, when Beldum gather in a swarm, they move in perfect unison as if they were but one Pokemon. They communicate with each other using brain waves.
That's pretty cool.
Right, cool.
I like it.
Would you like to read Metang's Emerald entry?
Is Metang two Beldum that got together? Or is it one Beldum that just sort of grew middle section?
Within lore, I'm sure it's two Beldum that got together. Maybe a Pokedex entry says it.
That's a good point. Yeah, when two Beldum fuse together, Metang is formed. So there we go.
There we go.
The brains of the Beldum are joined by a magnetic nervous system. By linking its brain magnetically, this Pokemon generates strong psychokinetic power.
That's cool.
Yeah, and also, I want to read the other one too, because
which one?
The next one is when two Beldum fuse together.
Is that Fire Red?
No, this is Sapphire.
Oh,
but because I see they're so similar. The brains of this Beldum are joined by the magnetic nervous system. Blah blah blah. This Pokemon turns its arms to the rear for traveling at high speed.
Oh.
We knew that already, actually.
Kind of like a jet thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I can see that.
It's pretty cool.
Unlike Pokemon like Diglett or Magnemite, when they evolve, there's just more of the same Pokemon. I'm really glad Beldum has like an entirely different design when it evolves into Metang.
Yeah.
Like you can still see like its little feet things look like Beldum a little bit, but it looks different enough to where it's not just two Beldums stuck together.
I wanna read a terrifying Pokédex entry. This is from Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Oh.
It floats midair using magnetism. Its body is so tough, even a crash with a jet plane won't leave a scratch. That implies that a jet plane has crashed into a Metang.
The pilot is dead.
Oh my gosh.
How did somebody... Yeah, literally, you could not find out this information unless that has happened. Ugh. I'm going to go ahead.
Does that imply there was a war or something and they were like, we gotta take it out?
There was that like 1,000 year Pokemon war that Gen 6 talks about. I don't know if jet planes existed back then.
I doubt it. But then again, they had a giant future shooter thing that shot.
Yeah, they had a giant magic future weapon.
Yeah.
And technically, Lieutenant Surge is like a veteran of a war, so I'm sure there were more recent Pokemon wars.
Veteran of war on drugs.
Is that why he wears the camo?
Yeah.
Metagross's Emerald entry states, Metagross has 4 brains that are joined by a complex neural network. As a result of integration, this Pokemon is smarter than a supercomputer. That's cool.
It's cool, but it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
That's not why we love Metagross.
I'm going to go to its most recent entry in Scarlet and Violet. And its Scarlet entry. It folds its 4 legs when flying. Okay, similar to Metang. Its 4 brains are said to be superior to a supercomputer. All right, can we get something else here? Violet. Here we go. It firmly pins its prey using its 4 claws and large body. Then Metagross uses the mouth on its stomach to chew its prey to bits.
It has a mouth on its stomach now?
I guess it always has.
What the heck?
What? Is there like any way for us to see like a 3D representation of this Pokemon? I need to be able to see this mouth. Because in the anime, whenever Metagross like opens its mouth, it's just like that part beneath the X that opens up. It's not like on its stomach. Oh my gosh.
Wait, no way.
No, that's fan art.
Yeah, that's fan art. I'm calling Pokédex BS. I'm calling Pokédex BS. I mean, like, it's got a mouth that I guess is... I wouldn't think that's a mouth on its stomach.
Well,
that's just like its mouth.
I guess technically it's not on the front of its face. I would say that's kind of a stomach mouth. It's not built directly on its underbelly, but...
Gosh, Metagross is so cool.
Now, here's the cool thing. Metagross, now obviously this doesn't exist anymore, but Metagross got a Mega Evolution. Oh, yeah. And Mega Metagross looks sick.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It looks amazing. Like some like dystopian, horrifying robot monster. And Mega Evolutions also got their own Pokedex entries. Its Ultra Sun Pokedex entry states, its intellect surpasses its previous level, resulting in battles so cruel they'll make you want to cover your eyes.
Okay, Pokédex BS. Oh my gosh.
You don't think this thing would tear apart any living thing it came across?
But it's also like, oh, Glalie friggin' jaw breaks, and it's like,
yeah,
it's like torture P word.
Yeah.
In fiction, it's like, yeah, oh man, it's friggin' its arms tear open and it's so sad and violent. Yeah,
it calls
and angry and oh you wouldn't want to be there because oh it's bad.
Like it calls Mega Salamence the blood-soaked crescent. Isn't that something else,
It's so fan fiction-y.
I'm also gonna read its Ultra Moon Dex entry. When it knows it can't win, it digs the claws on its legs into its opponent and starts the countdown to a big explosion. Are you
That's
it kamikazes itself?
That is
Metagross is amazing.
Yeah, what a Pokemon.
And let's just get this off the bat now, because I know everybody already expects us to talk about this. its shiny colors are some of the best.
Oh, yeah.
It's some of the
that's so
best.
clean.
That is a nice, beautiful silvery gray with the gold X and the gold claws and everything.
Class.
It is perfect. So good that the anime had like a whole featured episode about a shiny Metagross. The Pokemon Company knew. They popped off.
They're like, hold on, guys. Maybe we don't make this one green.
I know this one wants to be pink when we swap the color palette, but let's change that. Let's fix this. So, Metagross being a pseudo-legendary. By the way, Gen 3 gave us 2 pseudo-legendaries, Salamence and Metagross.
What a generation.
I know. Hey,
best.
maybe I'm coming around,
One
dude.
of the best.
So, Metagross has insane stats. A 135 attack stat, which honestly, we just talked about Armaldo last week. Not too far off from Armaldo, but it's every other stat where this thing shines. 130 defense, 95 special attack, which you're probably not going to be using special attack, but you can if you want to. I mean, it's up to you. It's not bad enough to where you can't use its special attack. 90 special defense and 70 speed. 70 speed, to my knowledge, my limited knowledge of competitive, is kind of slow, but it's like right at the cusp of being able to outspeed the Pokemon it needs to.
Yeah.
To my knowledge.
I mean, there's a lot of great like attackers that are like low speed, right?
Yeah.
So okay, if you can beat them.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And you don't even, I mean, you're Metagross. Your defense stat is so high, you don't need to be able to attack first to like one-shot your opponent. Move pool wise, it's got, I don't know, it's fine. It has a lot of good, psychic type attacks. Actually, hold on, am I in the most recent generation? The only physical psychic type attack it learns by level up is Zen Headbutt, and that's like extremely early. I mean, there's Zen Headbutt. Psychic Fangs does 5 more damage than it does 5 more damage than Zen Headbutt by 5. I'm losing my mind, Joachim. I need a Metagross brain, so I can have the mind of a supercomputer. So it gets Zen Headbutt and Psychic Fangs through TM. Yeah, there's really not much here for Psychic. Like, you're going to have it learn Zen Headbutt if you want a strong physical Psychic type move. Man, that's not that great. Then you have things like Hammer Arm. It gets Bullet Punch. Every Metagross is going to have Bullet Punch on it. Nice. Always going to hit first. Physical Steel move. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but you're hitting first, so you sacrifice that. Metal Claw. Oh, it gets the Elemental Punches. It gets Ice and Thunder Punch.
Okay.
So that's something. I didn't know it got those. So when you're talking about TMs, Body Press. That's the move I was trying to think of earlier. Body Press has a lot to do with weight. The move was introduced in, I believe, Generation 8. The user attacks by slamming its body into the target. The higher the user's, defense stat, the greater the damage. Okay. So,
I was going to say,
if
it was the higher the weight, then I'll be like, so one of its abilities would be the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Body Press, hey, for a Pokemon that has 130 defense, base defense,
that's pretty good.
That's still an extremely
what
good
type
move
is
to
Body
have.
Press?
Fighting.
Okay.
So you wouldn't get Stab unless you Terastallized or something.
Yeah. I can't wait for them to give up on Terastallization next generation.
It sucks so bad because I've really come around on Terastallization. I
so
think
much better
it's
than
cool.
Z moves.
Yeah, better than Z moves, better than Gigantamax.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Mega Evolution is really cool, but every Pokemon can use Terastallization.
Yeah. I really like the the Gigantamax forms though in Gen 9. I feel like they were pretty cool.
A lot of them are cool. Some of them are just kind of whatever. I don't know, like Butterfree and Corviknight. They don't look any different. They just look bigger. And then you have and then you have Appleton and Flapple that have the exact same Gigantamax form. Gigantamax is fine. I don't hate it as much as most people, but I feel like there's every other gimmick besides Z moves is better.
Yeah.
I guess there's only like 4 main gimmicks right now.
Strategies wise, we're not super professional. Frank is more professional, but barely.
Yeah.
You were in what, a Pokemon TCG league?
Yeah, no, it wasn't just TCG. Yes, back when I was in middle school, I was in a Pokemon league with college students. And, thanks, Mom. Thanks for trusting me there. It was so much fun. It was great. I loved that place. And it wasn't just TCG. We did a lot of TCG, but also we would always like play the games together. We would have like video game battles a lot. So all this to say, I don't know a lot about competitive.
So Metagross is a great Pokemon. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to do with him.
So
just put him on your team. He's good. He's cool.
Off the top of my head, he can learn Trick Room, all right? And he's not that slow. He's really not that slow. But if you put Metagross on a team of a bunch of slower Pokemon, he's your Trick Room user. Because whether he goes first or not, he's going to hit hard. I said that earlier. So I think one of your best strategies for Metagross, Trick Room. Or, obviously, since he's a Steel type, he doesn't take Sandstorm damage. So you can use him on a Sandstorm team as just, again, a heavy hitter. A Pokemon that can come in, do a lot of damage, take a lot of hits. He learns moves like Gravity, which enables flying types or Pokemon with a Levitate ability to be hit by ground type moves. So again, if you're on a Sandstorm team, you got a lot of ground and rock types, Pokemon that can learn Earthquake. Your opponent has a couple Levitate Mons or flying types. That's a helpful thing to do. Although then again, do you really want Metagross to be a utility Mon?
No.
No, you want him to be your heavy hitter.
Because he's freaking cool.
Yeah. He learns Knockoff. Knockoff's good. Yeah, get rid of your opponent's item.
What type is it?
Dark.
Really?
Yeah, still though. Knockoff has been, this generation, a ton of Pokemon were given Knockoff as a TM. A lot of Pokemon can learn Knockoff now.
Interesting. Back in Generation 3, I would play. My brother had a Metagross, and I was like, I don't want to have a Metagross. My brother had Metagross. Then Generation 4 came along, and that was when I was on my cool Pokemon arc.
Yeah, that was the peak of Jokum Pokemon.
What else? I can't remember what else I had on my team, but I remember I had Metagross. I was like, yes.
In Gen 4?
Yeah.
Where can you catch a Beldum in Gen 4?
I think I transferred it over.
Oh, you just... Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I love doing that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, friggin'! I had Mamoswine. I really thought Mamoswine was cool. I really liked his sprite. I was like, oh man, that's a nice big sprite.
A lot of times what I like to do when replaying a Pokemon game I've played 100 times is transfer in Pokemon that are harder to get. You can't get them like towards the end of the game or Pokemon that just aren't found in the wild in that generation and use them. Because I just think it's more fun than to catch the same Pokemon over and over, I hate reusing Pokemon. A lot of people are like, oh, I use an Alakazam or a Charizard or a Lucario on whatever team I have in whatever game. Like, how boring is that?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have the same Alakazam having the same moveset every single time you replay a game or something? That's boring. I want to use a new Pokemon every time. So I don't think I have ever actually used a Metagross on a team before, because I tend to not... I try to not use Pseudo-Legends. Like, I used the Baxcalibur recently in my playthrough of Scarlet, just because when I caught it as a Arctobax, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be a Pseudo-Legend, and I was just like, I'll just keep it. Why not?
It feels like Pseudo-Legends are kind of like cheating, right? Because they're really good.
Yeah, either that, or a lot of times, you can't really get them till close to the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like, think of Heart Gold, where you can't catch a Dratini until, like, the last gym.
Yeah.
And so... I think the earliest you can get a Pseudo-Legendary is in Generation 4. Gibble is somewhere around Hearthome City.
Yeah, there's like a cave above where you get Craniados or whatever. I think it's near there.
Yeah, it's like it's under Cycling Road.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I know for a fact it's under Cycling Road. I don't know if you can get Craniados there. No. You can only get fossils in that game.
What am I talking about? Wait, what?
We're talking about Gibble.
Yeah, we're talking about Gibble. No, there's like there's a town with the underground, right? That's kind of where you're.
No, you can go to the underground. Oh, well, yes, that's
you're introduced to it,
right? It starts with an E.
But you go to that fossil place, right, where you can you're introduced to the underground. You get your little fossil Pokemon. And then if you go north of the town, I think there's like a little patch of grass, and then maybe to the right of that there's a cave. I vaguely remember that, but I remember there being a Gibble in there. I might be wrong, but I remember there being a Gibble in there, and that was like the first time I saw the Gibble.
It's definitely not north of that town. It's south of Hearthome. I know for a fact that's where the cave is. You can catch.
Is Hearthome with the purple woman?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, purple
Fantina.
woman. Yeah, the big purple hairballs.
But yeah,
what do you think about Metagross's representation, merch-wise, just overall?
Oh, I feel like it gets represented a bit more than some of the other Pokemon. When
I
Katrina and I were in Japan recently, I made sure to take us into as many Pokemon centers as I possibly could. And if you guys go to my YouTube channel, I have some shorts on there about opening up these mystery figurines from that I got from Pokemon centers. And some of the mystery figurines I could have gotten were Metagross themed, and they had like a little Metagross hanging there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like the ones you can't see it, guys, but
Yeah,
he's got one of like Piplup hanging, and there's a little Oshawa, and then there's that one of that salamander ghost floating thing.
What's it called?
It shoots its own pre-evolutions out of its head.
Yeah, what's it called?
I couldn't tell you. Please tell me.
You sure?
I'm sure.
So it evolved. Let me help you out.
Dragapult.
Good job. I was saying it evolves from Dreepy.
Yes, Dragapult.
Dragapult, yes. So there's that. Obviously, since it's Generation 3.
Is that a Pseudo-Legend?
Yeah, it is.
Wow. It's
pretty cool. Yeah, Dragon Ghost. Pretty cool. Obviously, since it's Generation 3, that means there have been sitting cuties made of it. So you can get yourself a Metagross sitting cutie.
Which just sits like a Metagross.
It sits cutely.
I want to look at it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty good. It doesn't even look that chibi.
Yeah, I think it's got perfectly good representation. I don't think, if anything, it's overrepresented.
I wouldn't even call it overrepresented.
It's perfectly represented.
I think it's
not quite at the Lucario level.
No,
it's like just below Lucario, nowhere near Charizard and Pikachu, right?
Yeah,
Pikachu,
exactly.
Charizard, that's the top.
Yep.
Lucario's below that, right around with Gardevoir, and then Metagross.
And then you got Metagross, who's
then,
he's holding his own. I think all the pseudo-legendaries kind of have their own group of like, yeah, we're represented this much. It's not a ton, but it's enough.
And I feel like Scyther, I feel like he's in that same kind of thing where he's like represented. A lot of people will show him when they show Pokemon. They're like, Scyther.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, when I think of merch, you can find Scyther on. I don't really think of nothing really comes to mind.
Yeah,
but...
I know, not merch wise. I guess actually, maybe Scyther is below him, but I feel like it's because he's Scyther's Gen 1. That's why I'm thinking of it.
Yeah, because everybody loves everything Gen 1.
Hey, if you're a Gen 1er out there, I disagree with you.
Yeah,
Gen whatever you're thinking right now,
not
I
a
don't
good
care.
Generation. I mean, it's given us a lot of cool
it's
Pokemon.
Iconic,
but I think there's every other generation after has been better.
Yeah, Chansey. No, Blissey. Blissey was Chansey perfected.
Exactly.
Anyways, enough Gen 1 hate.
We'll get to that when we actually talk about a Gen 1 Pokemon.
But now, I think we need to get on to the part of the show where we discuss... roll the intro.
Yeah, Wet, Fed, and Dead, yay!
This is the part of the show where the boys discuss how edible, the pocket monsters that we focused on won't be long till up and come along to the segment of the show.
Yes, this is the part of the show where we talk about the wettable, the edible, and the deadable aspects of the Pokemon we are talking about today. With that being said, wettable, Metagross.
Oh, good lord. I'd be too scared.
I wouldn't be scared. I wouldn't know where to start.
Excuse me? What does that mean?
With, like, going on a date.
I'd be terrified. Okay, look. We talked about Armaldo last episode being cold to the touch. Imagine Metagross. Like, if it hasn't been sitting out in the sun for half the day, it is going to be a cold Pokemon.
Even if it has been, think about, like, Playground Steel. How uncomfortable it is when that's warm, if not hot.
Yes.
Right? I don't know if I'd want it either. Room temperature steel is gross. That just makes me think of someone else's, like, hand
you know what? If it
it
gets humid enough, steel will sweat. In this, like steel can, like,
accumulates,
collect. It accumulates
moisture. Yeah. What's its gender ratio?
Genderless.
Oh.
It is completely genderless.
It's non-binary.
Non-binary.
Wow.
Well, if it's a supercomputer, I'm sure there are ones and zeros in there somewhere.
No, it's as smart as a supercomputer. I don't think it
yes.
thinks in ones and zeros.
So yeah, listen, Metagross would be the coolest Pokemon to have as like a Pokemon trainer. It'd be great. To marry it, I just can't see myself being happy.
Unwettable. I would say it's unwettable.
I would say it's unwettable because you got to think of a bunch of different things you do with the person you're married to, your spouse.
There.
Be
careful where you're going. Oh, if you didn't see, Frank just like picked some hair off of me.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do. Yeah, you can't cuddle in bed with a Metagross. You can't hold a Metagross's hand.
Say unwettable.
No, because there's nothing there. You can't. I would not kiss a Metagross.
No.
Imagine it's like 30 degrees outside. You go to kiss your lovely Metagross spouse on the lips, and your lips freeze to it.
No, it doesn't look like a human.
No.
That's a huge part of it.
I guarantee you, we're eventually going to find a Pokemon that doesn't look like a human that we would be willing and happy to marry.
Probably. It has to have body heat.
But yes, it has to have a heartbeat and body heat.
Anyways, unwettable. Edible.
Unedible.
No, unedible. It's metal.
Does this thing have meat? Oh, that is a question I don't want answered. Does this have meat
eyes
inside of it?
I have a theory that the only part of it that's edible is it. I bet those eyes connect to a little brain. Like they have a little brain stem. And I think there's a little nugget of brain in there that I think tastes nasty and bitter. I would go as far as to say, no, I don't think there's any part of this that you could eat.
No, it's totally inorganic. Wait.
What? Does it have a tongue?
Oh, no.
No, it doesn't even have a tongue. It's just a black hole in its mouth. Yeah, no, inedible.
Yeah, I wish we could talk about this part longer, but there's nothing to eat. Honestly, realistically, I don't think even the eyes are organic. And if it's as smart as a supercomputer, I don't think it has a brain like a normal animal does. I think that's all just computer inside. I don't think
it's necessarily computer. It's like psychic, right? So I think it's like it's like aura and just like I don't know what psychic energy is in Pokemon. It's whatever that is, animating metal basically.
Here's a question I'll pose to you though, just so we don't move on from edible too quick, because I'm interested here. Like all Pokemon, it hatches from an egg.
I think that's just Pokemon being stupid as a concept.
Would you eat a Metagross's egg?
No, because I bet what's going on in there is like it's a slurry of metal shavings that are accumulating into the shape of a Beldum.
Yeah, probably. Imagine an egg with a super metallic taste.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah, that is bad.
All right.
Inedible.
This is so fast. Oh, I'm thinking about Deadable now. This is a fast section, man.
There's no weaknesses.
No.
It's not letting us get near its eyes.
No.
It will crush my side in with its freaking hand.
At 70 speed, I don't think the average human can outrun that.
0% chance of winning. I'm going to set my head down and be like, just point at it, like crush it fast. Just do it fast.
Just step on me, Metagross.
Just boom, boom. I don't want to see it coming. Please kill me.
I mean, you could take a metal baseball bat to this thing, and I don't think you would crack it.
People crashed a jet
into its pre-evolution. You could throw this thing off the tallest building in the world, and it wouldn't even be scratched.
It would probably just fly down.
Yeah.
Because it's like a levitating thing. It's funny that its ability isn't levitate.
Yeah. Metang doesn't even get that. There's nothing more to say. It's impossible. It has psychic. I think any psychic type is going to be next to impossible for a human to defeat, because it can literally just levitate somebody into the air with psychic.
There's like, what's that little cat with the dead eyes?
Oh, Esper.
I feel like I could surprise it with a metal bat. It looks like it has a soft spot on its head.
That's funny that you say that about Esper specifically, because its Pokedex entries talk about it having immense psychic powers hidden under its ears. I don't think you could kill an Esper.
I'll watch to see if its ears are down, and then I'm gonna whack its soft spot.
That's the thing. I don't think you can sneak up on a psychic type.
This isn't the Esper episode.
No, I'm done talking about Esper.
We can't
I just
win.
don't think you can sneak up on any psychic type. There's no sneaking up on it.
But it would probably have to be like it have to be actively looking, right? In the context of Metagross, it would have to be like waiting for you to attack, because it's not like so it's a psychic. It can tell the future. Oh, it has to like willingly
It has to willingly try to levitate a thing. It has to willingly put psychic energy into a thing. I don't think it's just passively always looking, unless like its Pokédex entry says it is.
I think I can imagine like an Oranguru constantly knowing what's going on around it 360.
Probably.
Monkey. Yes. Sadly, Metagross is just too powerful to kill. It's too metal to eat, and it's too metal to marry. It's too heartless to marry.
It's too hard.
Yes, overall. Oh, good lord.
But yeah, I think that summarizes our beautiful, wonderful, one of our favorites, Metagross, so very well.
Pretty well. Thank you all so very much for watching this episode. Please rate this podcast 5 stars if you enjoyed it. And if you want more Pokemon content, head over to my channel, Let's Be Frank, where I talk about Pokemon on a consistent basis. Not all the time. I talk about a lot of other things too, but Pokemon's a pretty consistent topic on my channel. This is on YouTube, by the way. At Let's Be Frank. I said Let's Be Frank, didn't I?
did?
I think so. If I didn't, it's
don't
at
know.
Let's Be Frank. And if you want more of this guy, Joachim, he and I have a series on my channel called Taboo Foods, where we cook foods that are considered weird in America. You know, grasshopper and cricket tacos, or bull testicles.
Which are normal in parts of America.
Yes.
Rocky Mountain oysters, but most of America.
But a lot of people would gag at eating testicles, but not us.
I still gag thinking about them.
They weren't that bad. Make sure you watch that video. But with all that being said, this has been your Certified Poke Moment.